Alright, today I'm going to be making a couple changes to Nalia, working these wizards in. The reason for that is, okay, so what is she? She's my Orzhov deck, black-white. Okay, one black-white for a 3/3 human rogue. I can look at the top of the card from my library whenever I feel like it. I may cast cleric, rogue, warrior, and or wizard spells on top of my library. Beginning of combat on my turn, if I have a full party, I put a +1/+1 counter on all my creatures, and they gain death touch till end of turn. So, she's a party deck. Problem is, getting a full party. I realized that it's a bit tricky, and I figured out why. The reason why is I have something like 14 clerics. I have 9 warriors, 8 rogues, including Nalia, and I only have 5 wizards. So, need more wizards. Of course, if something goes in, something has to come out. That's just the way it works. I've already identified that this guy's a warrior, but I don't really count him because he's not going to stay in play. Almost all the time, when he comes into play, and his trigger goes off, everybody sacrifices a non-token creature, he's the one that's going back to the graveyard. He's going to die. So, where's the other card? In addition to the creature types and the numbers I mentioned, I have 2 changelings. It feels like cheating. I didn't want to put changelings in the deck, but I realize I kind of have to in order to make the numbers, because there are not that many good black-white wizards for what I want to do. Warriors, it's touch and go. Clerics, oh shit, there's a whole fuck ton of clerics that work in this deck, oh my god. And rogue is, there's a bit more to choose from than warriors and wizards, but not as many as clerics. So I'm going to be taking out 1 warrior and 1 cleric. Okay, this will take me down to 8 warriors. I have 9 now. I forgot the numbers. Then I've got this, so if I hire a mercenary, I create a 3/2 changeling. I lose 3 life, but I create a 3/2 creature with all creature types. So it's whatever missing from the party creature I need. Where's the card I'm gonna take out? Oh, nice. Fucking both my fogs are sitting together. Holy Day and Darkness. Creatures attack and block in normal, but no damage. Darkness really, Holy Day people aren't really surprised by. When they see white has this effect, they're like, okay. But Darkness, when they see black has this effect, even though it's only 1 card, they're like, seriously? Black has that effect? You fucking kidding me? So I'm going to take out Ramos. And I'll tell you why. I already have Lisa. Lisa is not a warrior, cleric, rogue, or wizard. She's an angel. No further subtype. Ramos is a cleric, so he fits the bill. He flies. He gives all my other creatures +2/+2, but he's only a 2/2 for 5. Beginning of my upkeep, I may return a creature card from my graveyard to my hand. So that means, during my upkeep, so I have to wait, play him, and wait a full turn to get anybody back. A lot can happen in a full turn. He can get killed, which means I won't get the trigger. Somebody could exit my graveyard, all kinds of bullshit. Getting the +1/+1 is nice. Lisa, on the other hand, so she costs the same 5, only instead of 3 colorless, 1 black, 1 white, she is 2 colorless, 1 black, 2 white. But she's a 4/5, flying lifelinker. Whenever another non-token creature I control dies, I bring it back to my hand at the beginning of the next end step. So he brings it back to my hand during my upkeep. So it's kind of the same. She brings them all back. She says, yeah, I did. Pick up everybody. Go ahead. And if a creature an opponent controls a die, exile instead. So because I already have this effect, Ravos' effect, I want to call him Ramos. He's a Ravos. Ramos is another thing entirely. Ramos is the dragon engine. This guy is the Soul Tender. But because I already have a similar effect, and I need to cut something, I'm going to keep Lisa and cut Ravos for one of these two guys. Getting a battery indication, so I'm going to need to splice these together once the battery dies. I'll keep going until that happens. So instead of Ravos, who's a cleric, I'll put in this wizard, Deep Gnome Terramancer. 1 and a white for a 2/2 flashy gnome wizard. Whenever one or more lands into the battlefield under opponent's control without being played, I can go find a plains card, throw it into play tapped, and then shuffle. Only once per turn. So anybody that triggers any kind of fetch land, Evolving Wilds, Fabled Passage, creature comes into play, and you can search it, Solemn Simulacrum, any of that. There's a lot of that in Commander. So I expect him to get me a few planes over the course of the game, if I get him into play. Expect him to work pretty hard for me. The other creature, because after clerics, the next one I have the most of is warriors. I just put her in here because she's a low casting cost, decent toughness, power warrior, so she fits the bill. When she comes into play, all my opponents get a 1/1 white human creature token, which in some cases is a bad idea. In some cases, it doesn't matter. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, she gets bigger. So, in a more aggressive deck, or in this deck, she's good. It's a relatively aggressive deck, but I should probably put her in something even more aggressive. Maybe I should do something with, make a modern deck with her. But anyway, because I need another wizard, and I have enough warriors, overall, relatively, I'm going to put in Draneth Magistrate. I took him out of Ikra Darkondo. They got God Eternal Oketra. So he costs the same, basically, 1 and a white instead of 1 and a black. He's a 1/3. She's a 3/3. But he says, your opponents can't cast their commanders. So a little bit of holy control from this cleric. So she comes out. Magistrate goes in. I thought about taking out the Blind Obedience. Thought about taking out something else, but they're just too useful in the deck. So I chose to go down a warrior. And I do have a number of creatures that have that do not fit the party theme. Lisa, but Lisa's funny. So there have been 2 games so far. 2 games where this has happened. I've had Lisa out. Long Pete is playing the Night Tribal Jabari deck. He casts a spell where everybody sacrifices all but one creature, and that one creature gets a counter that means that creature cannot attack Long Pete. So I choose Lisa. And everybody else, all creatures that die, get exiled. And I'm going to get all my creatures back at the end of the turn. And, okay, so Lisa can't attack you, Long Pete. Oh, boo-hoo. She can attack other people. All my creatures that come back can attack you. So, she's pretty damn good. Is there anything else notable, anything else you want to see in here? This guy, modified creatures control of lifelink. Counters are modifications. Oh, that's nice. So that means if I have a full party and Nalia triggers and gives all my creatures +1/+1, that they all have lifelink. So if they all attack, or when they attack, combat, they're all lifelink trample. Sweet. Thought about taking out this guy, but the Proliferate is too useful, especially for Mikaeus the Lunarch. Vargoth and Bloodsire, Demon Rogue. I can, when I attack with him, I can Demonic Tutor. Well, it's not really Demonic Tutor, and it's not really Grim Tutor, because Grim Tutor costs you life, and it costs 3. Demonic Tutor costs 2, but it puts the card in your hand. This puts it on top of your library. Although if it's a Warrior, Wizard, Rogue, or Cleric that I lurk for, and Nalia is in play, I can just play it off the top of my library. There's Cabal Coffers. I don't know if you saw the video where I was talking about Cabal Coffers, but the reason Coffers is in here is because Urborg is in here. Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Not Urborg, but Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth. Urborg is another card entirely. Urborg taps 1 black, or tap, remove Swamp Walk from a creature until end of turn. Since I have Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth to smooth out my mana, it's like, okay, why wouldn't I put a Coffers in? I don't really need that much mana, you know, the potential that Coffers can produce, but I'm not going to turn it down. Fuck no. Whenever you cast a creature CMC 3 or less, which is most of them as you've seen, it's a small creature deck, so I need control elements. That's why I don't feel guilty at all about putting Draneth Magistrate in here. It's because I'm playing a bunch of small creatures. So I need ways to slow down my opponents that are playing beefier creatures. But I get clue tokens. She's fantastic in this deck. Because if I get the black market connections, I'm going to start losing a lot of life every turn. So I need a way to get it back. And she helps me get it back. Plus she's got protection from black and red. Golden. So this is where I was kind of scraping for wizards. So I put her in. 3 black for a 3/3 flying creature. 5 for a 3/3 flyer. That's kind of shitty these days. That's not really that great. But whenever she deals combat damage to player, they exile a card from they pick the card. They pick the goddamn card. And I can play it for as long as it remains exiled. Unless it's not black or white. Because it doesn't say you can spend mana Zor or mana of any color. So if they exile a blue card, it just stays exiled. But I can sacrifice a human to regenerate her. I haven't really needed to do that yet, but it is there. Fracture, Harper Recruiter. She's great. 3 for a 3/3 flyer. Whenever she attacks, just attacks, not connects, not deals damage, just attack. And then I can look at the top 4 cards in my library, and I can reveal a cleric, rogue, warrior, and or a wizard. So if I hit all 4, I get them all. If I get lucky and I hit the lottery, and it's warrior, cleric, rogue, wizard on top of my library, I draw 4 cards essentially. So that's pretty nice. Faulty the Archangel, because why not? Another way to give everybody Death Touch and Lifelink. Holy Day Darkness. Let's get them away from each other. I really want the Secret Lair Zulaport Cutthroat. I really like the art on that. Whenever he or another creature I control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and I gain 1 life. Vindicate. This is the board wipe in the deck. 3 white. Each player chooses a party from among creatures they control and sacks the rest. So it's funny, I cast it, and everybody starts scrambling, looking at is this a warrior? Is this a rogue? Is this good? Alright, had to change the battery. So where was I? I was talking about sticking together. So everybody starts scrambling and trying to see if they have any of these creature types. And a lot of times they don't. So it's just a one-sided board wipe. I'd lose a few creatures. To be fair, I'd lose a few, but losing a few is better than losing everybody. Squad Commander. When he comes to play, I get a 1/1 warrior for each creature in my party. So this is another way of making warriors. Beginning of combat on my turn. If I have a full party, my creatures get +1/+0 and indestructible until the end of turn. Alright, there he is. Micaeus Lunarch. This guy. He is surprisingly good. I forget who told me about him, who recommended him. Might have been Connor, might have been Isuskimi, might have been Ultra Herman. I forget. But, so he comes to play with X counters on him. So if I proliferate, he gets more counters. I can put counters on him by tapping him. I can also put counters on him, take counters off him to put them on my other creatures. So if I just use him for that, everybody gets another counter, giving them all +2/+2, and then I proliferate it if I have that metastatic Evangel. Everybody gets pretty big pretty fast. I don't know, I just put this in because it looked funny. 5 for a 2/2 flasher. When an opponent puts 1 or more counters on a creature they control, they put the same number in kind on the Bold Plagiarist. I haven't had the opportunity to play this to see if it's worth the slot or not, but it just seems funny. And it'd be great, you know, somebody puts 6 +1/+1 counters on one of the creatures, and I go bang, and she becomes an 8/8. She gets 6 counters too, something like that. But if she doesn't work, then I'll replace her with another rogue. I have no idea which one, but I'm sure I can find somebody. Shakedown heavy. This guy's fucking hilarious too. 3 for a 6/4. Menace. But whenever he attacks, whoever I'm attacking they can let me draw a card, and if they do, he untaps and doesn't fight because you paid the toll. What does she do again? If one or more counters on a creature planes I control, put that many +1. Okay, so she doubles the counters. Well, adds 1 more, so 1 additional counter. So she's pretty good. What else have I got? What else is notable? Burkos. He's all creature types that I care about. He's cleric, rogue, warrior, and wizard. But when he attacks, defending player loses X life and I create X treasure tokens, where that's number of creatures in my party. Keep in mind that the party counts not the creature type, so he is not a full party by himself. He only counts as 1, and then you have to have, if you say he's the cleric, then you have to have a rogue, a warrior, and a wizard to have a full party. You have to have 4 creatures. I didn't get that at first, but I was had to look it up. Banewhip Punisher. So 3 for a 2/2 warrior. Comes to play, I can put a -1/-1 counter target creature, then I can sacrifice. And I don't have to tap to sacrifice her. If I have 4 mana, I can basically play her as a terror if I need to. Not even terror, just murder. I can play her as a murder for 4 if I need to. She comes into play, creature gets a -1/-1 counter, and then I can spend another black and sacrifice her immediately without having to tap or any bullshit like that. 8.5 tails. He surprisingly is more effective than I thought. He's mana hungry, so target permanent control gains protection from white until end of turn for 1 and a white. And then for 1, you can change a spell or permanent to white until end of turn. So it's 2 and 1 white to, somebody's going to target one of your creatures with a bolt or something. You can change that to another color and then give the permanent protection. So if somebody is, for example, casting Starstorm and doing 6 points of damage to all the creatures, you can turn Starstorm white and give one of your creatures protection from white and save it until end of turn. And that's was more effective than I thought, except for the fact that it is mana intensive. Yeah, Mortifi. This guy, I really didn't know if I wanted to put him in, because I don't want to give my opponent's cards. But I don't have to. I don't have to do anything. I can just fly over and smack somebody and, yeah, I'm not doing anything. I don't have to make everybody discard. I don't have to make everybody lose life and draw a card. I don't have to make everybody sacrifice. I can just fly over for 3. Smack. Dark Confidant, one of the other wizards. One of the other ways I will be losing life. Let's see, Selfless Spirit. This is Rumor Gatherer. So whenever another creature enters a battlefield under your control, scry 1. If this is the second time this ability has resolved its turn, draw a card instead. So if I play, I don't even have to play a creature. If a token comes into play under my control, it triggers. So it's not just cast, it's just however the goddamn creature got there. If I do it twice, then bang, I draw a card. Seasoned Dunganeer. So the Dunganeer, the initiative. I don't fucking use that. I don't know. I don't care. But whenever you attack, target attacking cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard gains protection from creatures until end of turn and explores. Okay, that's pretty cool. Make dudes bigger and smash face because it can't be blocked. Umazawa's Jitte. So with the proliferate effects, Jitte gets a lot better. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage, it gets 2 charge counters. Not the creature, Jitte. Remove a charge counter from Umanzawa's Jitte. Choose one. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Or target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, or you gain 2 life. This is in here because I have Lurrus of the Dream Den. So Angelic Renewal can just sit there, and if one of my creatures is going to die and I don't want it to die, I could sacrifice Angelic Renewal and it will return from the grave. And then Lurrus, with Lurrus I can recast it. Same reason I have Seal of White, whatever the fuck it's called, I forget. I'll find it. Scavenger, Mother of Runes. Around the time she was printed, they also had a card called Smother. Smother was a 1 and black, or maybe it's just 1 black. I want to say 2. I'm pretty sure it was 2. Instant. Destroy target creature with CMC 3 and less. So dudes loved it when they had Smother in their deck, and somebody played Mother of Runes, and they got to smother the mother. There he is, Frontline Medic. Whenever he and at least 2 other creatures I can attack, my creatures are indestructible until end turn. And I can sack him if somebody's going to play a spell with X in it and make them pay more. The other Changeling, of course, X until end of turn. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX and gain all creature types. So how does the Frontline Medic stack up to... Where's that other dude? Pretty sure he's in here. Squad Commander. Beginning of combat, if you have a full party, creatures you control get +1/+0 and indestructible. So he wants me to have a full party. This dude just wants me to attack with him and at least 2 other creatures. And they all become indestructible. So, good to go. Anything else interesting? I don't know about this guy. I probably should have a better rogue, but 1 and a black for a 2/1. When he attacks, I can pay 1 life and get a treasure token. I haven't seen him in play. He is a recent addition to the deck, and I have not played since adding him, so I don't know if I'm going to like him or not. If I shouldn't put another rogue in, replace him, but he is cheap to cast, so there you go. Since he's Divining Top, because I can look at the top card of my library anytime, and I can play party members off the top of my library. So if I look at the top, and it's not a party member, but I can cast one, let's switch it up, see if I can find a party member. Wizard, she's actually a zombie wizard now. She was errated. So 2 and a black for a 1/1 zombie wizard. I don't have to untap her during my untap phase if I don't want to. 2 and a black. Tap. Pull target creature from any graveyard into play under your control. Exile it if she becomes tapped or you lose control of her. Command Tower, Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, Cleansing Nova. The other board wipe. Clever Concealment, Protection. It's black-white, so I should be able to convoke it pretty easy. Otherwise, 2 white-white. Any number of target non-land permanents I have phase out. So I can protect my artifacts, my enchantments, my creature. I protect everything about my lands with Clever Concealment. Arcane Signet, Ghost Away. Protects my creatures. So if somebody's doing a board wipe, I can Ghost Away. They lose all their counters because they're going to be exiled and come back, and I lose any tokens I have. But if I save the main party, then I'm not in such a bad shape. It doesn't set me behind. Oh, then there's this guy. So Sheldon here, Sheldon Maneri. 1 and a black for a 2/2 human wizard. Beginning of my upkeep. You, me, target opponent each show off the top card of your library. You each lose life equal to the mana value of the card revealed by the other dude. And then both you put those cards in your hand. So he's in play. My upkeep. We flip over the top card. So let's say mine is Ghostway. And let's say my opponent is Grave Shifter. I take 4 damage. He takes 3. And we each put the cards in our hand. So people don't want to kill him. if you want some funny card draw that doesn't draw hate, play one of these guys. I mean, Rhystic Study annoys people. Consecrated Sphinx annoys people. Arcanus the Omnipotent, he costs 6 to cast. He doesn't get started anytime real soon. Dark Confidant, people like to kill him. But this guy, because if you spread it around, if you spread the love and pick a different opponent each time, or you ask who needs a card, then he becomes kind of a group hug card, and people don't want to kill him. So you can keep drawing cards. And drawing cards is good. Lurrus is the other changeling. So there's 2 changelings, Grave Shifter and Mirror Entity. Lurrus of the Dream Den. Yep. 1 black, white hybrid, 3/2 lifelinker. During each of my turns, I can cast 1 permanent spell with CMC 2 or less from my graveyard. There it is, Seal of Cleansing. Bang! So I can play this, sack it, blow up an artifact or enchantment, and then if I have Lurrus and it is my turn, I can cast it back out of my graveyard. Synergies, combos, it's all good. Multiclass Baldric. I'm not really sure which part is the Baldric. I don't know if it's the harness, if it's the armor, probably the harness. Probably the harness is a Baldric. I'd never heard that term before. I don't do HEMA. So 1, equip 2. 1 to cast, 2 to equip. Equip creature has lifelink if you have a cleric, death touch if you control a rogue, haste if you have a warrior, and flying if you control a wizard. So if you've got all 4, you will have a life-linking, flying, death touch, hasty motherfucker. As long as you have a full party, you get all this shit, plus you prevent all damage that would be dealt to the equipped creature. So he's pseudo indestructible. He's got lifelink, death touch, haste, and flying. So he's a fucking badass. Then I've got this guy, Shadow. Black, 3/2. The card will be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere at all. Instead, exile it with a void counter. And this guy, so I can sacrifice him and play him again with Lurrus because his mana cost is 2. Choose an exiled card an opponent owns with a void counter on it. I may play it this turn without paying its fucking mana cost. So, Fiend of the Shadows says you have to cast the exiled card. And if it's not in your colors, tough titty. This guy says, I don't give a shit. Just let me die and I'll let you cast a card. Okay, just let me die. And then you bring him back and he's like, fuck, I'm here again. So anyway, that's Nalia. Those are the changes. What do you think?